So that's one great way that banks and financial institutions can really help cut their costs. On the flip side, we also have another great industry. If you're in the retail space and you have brick and mortar storefronts, there's even more considerable cost savings generally at the store level. And so, same strategy here, at least as recommendation, maintain support for the initial 3 years in accordance with the OEM, maintain all the proper licensing that you have. But after those initial 3 years, especially at the store, when a lot of that equipment is very stable, there aren't a lot of updates and changes that are being made to that hardware. If you're a CIO, a director, an IT manager, again, or a business leader that you're really working to try and reduce some of those OpEx or operating expenses at the store, I guess number two is if you're one of those individuals that's trying to find ways to free up budget so that you can, again, reallocate that spend that would go to the IT support contracts into a technology refresh, this is a great strategy for you to implement. So, an example that we have in a retailer that I worked with, I was talking with the director of IT. He manages 36 stores across the United States, a number of stores all around the world. They implemented a new POS system at all of their store locations. And this director came in after his predecessor, only to find out that, hey, there were a lot of store issues and store challenges operating this POS system solely off of Wi-Fi. And so they ended up having to run these two POS systems in tandem next to one another, just so that they could ensure they could make a sale at the end of the day, which is critical for a storefront, right? So yet they didn't have the budget in place yet to perform the refresh on all the wireless infrastructure at those stores. So, essentially it comes back to the store and the friction. Their in-store iPads that manage that new POS application would continue to drop wireless signal as a store associate walked around the store with a customer. So one, that caused a lot of frustration with the sales individual, from the store, but that also added a ton of friction with their clients, because those open shopping carts that the associate would walk around with on their iPad, it would clear if they lost Wi-Fi signal. So, in order to open up budget for that wireless refresh, the director opted to move all of the store infrastructure to a hardware replacement only strategy. So if they had a failure, we'd replace that piece of equipment on demand, and then they would forego the OEM support contract to try and, again, free up that budget so that they could perform the refresh. So, that's another real fantastic strategy. You can work with your third-party maintenance provider to build out for you, depending on the type of operation that you're in, to help reduce some of those operating expenses, and then being able to reallocate those funds to a critical technology refresh for the business. So again, just another great example of that.